Thank you, Danette, for making me blush. And I also want to thank Morris and Ryan for demonstrating their technology. And I didn't know about it either, and I'm really excited to see how the game we're developing can interface with it. So, my mother once told me, the world is your oyster. And I took it as a challenge. Luckily for all of you, I wasn't raised by an elitist or bankers. I was raised by loving, nurturing parents. But if it was true that the world was indeed my oyster, then I better start getting a grasp of how it worked. What would you do today if you wanted to help your community? There's so many issues at stake. Would you start a local food co-op, maybe a credit union, maybe even try to revolutionize the school system? Why not do all of those things simultaneously? Oh, but hush, hush, young man. Those are all grand projects requiring hundreds, if not thousands of participants, taking years, right? Okay, maybe. Well, what if I told you you could do all of those things with a game for free during a lunch break? Okay, before I get carried away, let me rewind for a minute and tell you why I'm here. I'm here because, like many others, I've come to the realization that the world is headed for troubling times. And I've spent the last 6 years of my life studying how we might prevent a systemic collapse. The world is moving from a wasteful oil economy to a conservative renewable one. And don't get me wrong, the future can totally be an abundant society. We can get there, and I think we will. But only if we outgrow the waste paradigm, the consumption economy. So, Permacities. Permacities is the game of permaculture and urban design. It's a fusion of Google Earth and SimCity, a planetary modeling game, if you will. It's a game we're currently developing to quite literally change the world. So, when I see this picture, I think, whoa, what happened here? It's a confusing mess with no end in sight. It's as if thousands of painters shared the same canvas with no collective vision. So I think it's important that we're not only aware, but prepared for the accelerating changes in regards to urbanization. 70 million people a year are moving into cities. That's 150 people a minute. And in only 15 years, 80% of humanity may live in cities. So we have some serious design issues to address. How can we transform these streets into areas of mixed use? How can we turn the market square into a focal point of community and food sharing? These are the types of issues we have to address. So the time has come for a program that models the Earth. That program might as well be fun and user-friendly. We can now design our cities in harmony with the landscape. From pole to pole, we can heat and cool our homes based on our direction to the sun. Hell, an Alaskan citizen can enjoy a plate of salmon with a side of mango chutney and rice washed down with a guava juice from the old greenhouse out back. This is what's possible just with design. So that brings us to construction. With technologies that are emerging today, such as 3D printing, the world is moving from atoms to bits, from the hammer to the keyboard, from stem cell grown homes to 3D printed homes to even insects building forests. The world is taking a bizarre turn in regards to the manufacture of our buildings. So yes, it's true, MIT has successfully used the humble silkworm to quite literally lay out a dome home, or what they like to call the silk pavilion. So what does this mean? It means more and more software is helping us design our cities. It means more and more what we come up with in the game world, we can manifest in the physical reality. So, with happiness and sustainability in mind, what kind of cities do we want to build? What kind of human hive is appropriate for our bipedal frame? This is one of Paulo Soleri's visionary concepts for a single structure city based on Arcology. Simply put, Arcology is the unification of architecture with ecology. Soleri started the Arcosante community in the Arizona desert to demonstrate his visions. And he passed away recently, bless his soul, but imagine what he might have created with advanced software like a planetary CAD, if you will. or with automated construction technologies. We want to equip every child growing up today with the tools to impregnate the world with urban potential, with urban magnificence. So that brings us to gaming. There's a lot of stigma attached to games today, no surprise. Many of our youth are blasting each other up in virtual rooms. But where does the responsibility of the game designer come in? I would argue that we can make better games. Why not earn a badge for successfully nursing an endangered species back to health? Or why not earn experience points for using a monorail to unify suburban sprawl? Better yet, why not brag to your friends about that epic Amazonian mission you completed, successfully saving the earth lungs of the planet from the lumber corporations? We can gamify it. And so that's what my friends and I are working on. We're working on gamifying the planet, or what I like to call Gaia Gaming, gaming for Earth points. We want more people involved in the design of their cities. And we want every neighborhood to try to earn their community an Uber win. Given the chance, wouldn't you want to earn the planet a level up? I'm sure you guys can recognize this. My friend did this for me in only 2 hours. He's an amazing sketcher. Shams-e Tabrizi once said, "Cities are erected on spiritual columns. Like giant mirrors that reflect the hearts and minds of the residents. If those hearts darken and lose faith, the city will lose its glamour." So Ojai, or should I say Eco-High, could be a leading example of one of Andre Douani's garden city concepts. That is the combination of a thriving garden culture and a walkable downtown. But how should we share this valley? How should Ohaitians share this space? Do we want everyone spread out equidistant, all the homes spread out, or do we want to live close together? Do we want to replace the automobile with the bicycle? What about motorists? Do we want them arriving into town in big Hummers, or should they arrive silently and elegantly via light rail? And if that's what we want, then how much would a monorail cost to connect downtown Ventura with downtown Ojai? And food. What about food? How much of the food in Ojai is organic? Is it feasible that we might get Ojai into 100% organic in the next 5-10 years? I hope so. But most importantly, though, what would you do to Ojai in a virtual game world? How would you mesh the downtown buildings together? Would you add rooftop cafes and libraries, gardens everywhere? So we're at the very beginning of the development of geo-based and open source games. We have a whole planet to map out and gamify, and the sooner that we get more visionaries, designers, and programmers on board, the sooner we can design our cities into communities of abundance. This is what we're working at. And we need more people playing with us. So that brings us to my final slide. And I want to wrap up by inviting everyone to come play with us, to come design with us, and play with the earth in a very good way. Going to end with a quote from the great poet and author Alain de Botton, who said, "We owe it to the worms and the trees that the buildings we cover them with will stand as promises of the highest and most intelligent kinds of happiness." Thank you.